Hi, brother. What's going on, man?
Man, not too much. Been a hell of a week so far in the whole world of sports and entertainment, everything.
Yeah. So I waited to do this one because I was gonna do one on what's today, Wednesday. I was gonna do one on Monday to recap the weekend because it was a great weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Had U.S. crush Panama, which is a weird thing, right? Because I'm Panamanian.
Yeah.
And it was one of those like, man, I want Panama to qualify, but not at the U.S.'s expense.
Exactly.
So I'm sitting there, right? And then I was like, all right, cool. U.S. won 4-0. Then I head into Saturday, huge game, FSU UM. Had lost to them 7 straight times. I'm freaking the fuck out, right? The whole time. Miami comes back and win. I have a heart attack. Melanie was actually taking a nap during that time.
Oh, I bet she scared the shit out of her.
because she hates watching games with me. I told you I'm a terrible person to watch games with.
So are you worse if your team's getting blown out, or are you worse if it's coming down to crunch time and like it's like the other team's gonna kick a field goal to win it? Like which makes you
I
more
prefer
mad?
a blowout.
Okay.
So I'll give you
I'm the same way.
I'll give you a perfect example. A couple years ago, I think 2 years ago when we still had Al Golden. Miami played Clemson. Clemson blew them out like 58-0.
Okay.
Right. It was the first time they played. It was the year they first played Alabama. So got blown out. I was like, all right, cool. And we went to Hobby Lobby because my wife loves to craft, as you can see in the room.
Right.
So I was like, all right, whatever. I watched it on my phone. I was like, all right, whatever. But last week it's Florida State, right?
Yeah.
It's Florida State. Like any other loss doesn't bother me as much as a loss.
The guys from Tallahassee.
Yeah, exactly. I've been there a couple of times and I've seen them play up there, and it's just a weird thing. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll recap it on Monday. Had a good weekend. I was like, nah, let's wait till Tuesday when I know the U.S. is going to qualify. They got an easy game at Trinidad and Tobago. And Pulisic drags their old asses to the World Cup. So I'm watching the game yesterday, and I could tell from minute 0, like they kicked it off. I was like, "Oh, we're in trouble."
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't watch any of the games, so like I've seen the highlights. I know a little bit about
it. Or the
lowlights.
The lowlights.
True.
More like
Very true.
And so I'm watching it, and I'm mad, like, because I'm more passionate. Like, soccer's my number 1 sport. Like I told you,
is it?
It's college football. Miami Hurricanes are my number 1 team, but soccer is my number 1 sport.
Okay.
I'll watch mostly any soccer game, mostly in Europe. Cause
did you play as a kid?
No, I didn't. I played a little bit as a kid. I'll tell you right now, I punked out because I didn't like heading the ball. Because I thought it hurt. I was like 5. Like, I don't want to do this. This is stupid. Yeah. So, but I
stopped playing when I was little because I was short and fat.
Yeah. I was short and fat. Now I'm just old and fat. So I'm there. So I'm watching it, and like, the older I've gotten, the more and more I've gotten into soccer. Like, I've always watched men's national team. I've always, even when they had like Eric Ronaldo and like all those other guys, right? Just because like I've always rooted for American teams.
So what's your main interest in soccer since you never really played much as a kid? Like, what's the draw for you?
Honestly, the level of talent that these guys can do with their feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like how like
it is amazing.
They could cross a ball like across the whole pitch, which is what they call the field, right?
Right.
They call it a pitch. So you kick it across on a dime to a guy making a run that you didn't even see in the camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And land it on his foot. Like that. How does that make sense?
It's like a quarterback throwing to a wide receiver, except with their feet.
With their feet. And the ball, and you'll see the ball like slice at an angle. Mm-hmm. Like that. It's insane to me. And then, so I became a bigger fan of European soccer.
Okay.
Like, soccer's huge for being flop masters, and they dive and all that type of shit.
Surprised you're not saying football.
Yeah, I know football. I'm trying to keep it. Now I just had deja vu. So I got into that, and then 2014, because I always watch every World Cup. Watch every World Cup since I can remember.
Yeah.
U.S. has never been a good team, right? Like, realistically, on the world stage.
Well, on the men's side.
On the men's side. On the women, we're dominant as shit. And they
I actually just saw a buddy's post to say, can we just send the women's national team to...
They should, bro. So I'm watching this game yesterday. And today, so I'm mad as shit. Then I have to go to sleep because I got to be up at 4 a.m. So the whole day, I tortured myself. Like, I listened to, like, Taylor Twellman, the former men's national team
guy.
Went off. He went off as he should have.
Hell yeah.
It's embarrassing, man.
Okay, so let me ask you something. I've got a couple different perspectives on this whole soccer thing. Now, number one, I definitely believe we are the best nation in the world, and
most athletic nation in the world.
Yes, and I believe that we should be dominant in everything because we have the resources to be dominant in everything. Now, the other part of me realizes that these other countries don't have as much as we do, so they put all of their effort into one thing. So should we really be so mad because we're doing it to ourselves?
We shouldn't be mad, but because we're doing it to ourselves, we should be mad, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged type of thing where
It is.
okay, so one of the things that I didn't know, because again, I didn't follow soccer as a kid and as a youth and all that stuff. Like, we have in the States pay for play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the kids have to pay for their right. Like, so it's a higher economic level. Like, for kids, it's like $2,500 to $3,500 a year to play soccer.
Okay.
Because it's traveling.
The traveling is a huge expense.
They don't sponsor that, right? And these European teams, it's basically a school, right? So
brings up another point later.
Yeah. So they bring them guys in like Lionel Messi, right?
Right.
Probably one of the greatest players, top 3 greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
Little guys like 5'6".
Right up there with Pele.
Right up there with Pele and Ronaldo and Maradona and all those guys. And this guy moved to Barcelona when he was like 10 years old.
Okay.
Barcelona recruited him, and he was at the Barcelona Academy and grew up through their whole program, right?
Right.
They taught him how to play. He goes to school, everything. Barcelona pays for all that. So they develop it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He doesn't
like the government funds it.
Like the government funds it. The academy funds it. So European soccer is very weird because like they'll have. It's a corporation. It's a company, right? Like each team is a company. Like Manchester United in England.
Well, don't the Glazers that own the Bucks?
Liverpool.
They own Liverpool.
They own Liverpool,
so.
Which LeBron James has partial ownership in them too.
Is he really?
Yeah, he has partial ownership. Like,
ain't that some shit?
Yeah, they have, and that's a bigger draw. And it's bigger money.
He could probably buy the whole town of Liverpool.
Yeah, he probably does own most of it.
Yeah.
Like he just bought. I think he bought it because they were up for grabs. And to be an owner is to be a boss, right?
True.
And you own a team, one of the best teams in one of the best leagues in the world.
So he basically now owns the Cleveland Cavaliers, he owns Nike, and he owns Liverpool.
Yeah, and he pretty soon will own the Lakers and probably have a production company.
Yeah.
LeBron James is a genius. And Beats.
Oh.
And Beats. And because
Did he go on with Dre on Beats?
He had an investment when they sold Beats to Apple that he got like $30 million just for the sale because he owned like a percentage. Yeah,
what did Dre get out of that?
I think like $2 billion.
Whew.
Yeah, Jimmy Iovine, which is a documentary on HBO called The Defiant Ones. Okay. I heard Brendan Schaub talking about it on Fighter and the Kid.
Okay.
And it's all about like Jimmy Iovine and his story, like how he knew all these people were gonna be it, like the guy from Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
Like, and then they had a guy.
Wow, talking about bringing back an old band.
Exactly, and they had like a guitarist that ended up being the guy from 9 Inch Nails or something like that. Like, I might be messing up the bands.
Yeah.
But like he just had that kind of ear. He's like, man, do whatever you want to do. Trent Reznor, I think is the guy.
Yeah. My sister, brother-in-law, and his sister are freaking obsessed with 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Like,
some of the best music to listen to in the gym. Some of the best. Yeah.
My sister-in-law, my brother-in-law's sister flew in last week from L.A. to Chicago to go to the big 9 Inch Nails festival that they have up there.
That's insane.
They travel all over to go see them.
That's kind of crazy too, and daring to do a festival after what happened in Vegas.
No, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. It was before.
Oh,
Vegas.
It was before Vegas.
Yeah. So I guess it was about 2 weeks ago. Maybe.
Yeah, that's crazy shit. So back to soccer before, because I had a whole rant.
Yeah.
So
we do this a lot, guys.
Yeah, we rant, but we could talk about whatever. But 2 topics leads an hour and a half. So that's what European does.
Okay.
So in the U.S., the most athletic kids don't get that break, right? Like the most athletic kids don't get that break where they're not. Most of those athletic kids don't have the money or don't have the ability to pay $3,000 a year, and the parents don't have that. So you're gonna get the most athletic, I don't want to say like this because I'm sure not all of them are, but a percentage of them are the entitled kids that have that extra $4 grand to spend. That's not counting new boots, which are the cleats, new uniforms, constant training, coaches, lodging, all this different type of stuff. That Taylor Twelman, that's what he refers to as pay for play.
Right.
So it's the ones with the most money that get the thing. Like there's this kid. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just
I can talk about this shit forever.
Yeah, I was just thinking, so here in America we preach, work hard, take advantage of opportunities, and I'm not saying you're wrong with what you're saying, but it's almost like we're crucifying these kids that can't afford to do it because their parents put in work and have opportunities.
Right, but so the downside that comes with that is that with the parents who have the extra money, they're gonna pay my kids, then they make
there's some corruption
there's some corruption in there because like I was perfect leading because there's this kid that plays in Germany, right? Not Christian Pulisic, who plays for Borussia Dortmund. So I'll talk about Pulisic real quick. Funny thing about him is he's the best player US has ever had.
Okay.
Like talent-wise, like ever. Like I'm sure
better
there's
than like Clint Dempsey.
Better than Clint Dempsey talent-wise. Clint Dempsey is good. Donovan was good. Eric Ronaldo was good. Alexi Lawless were good. None of them can do what Christian Pulisic does.
Yeah.
The way he sees the field, but he wasn't developed in an American academy. He at 15, him and his dad, and left the mom, not divorced, but
right.
They split the family, so he could train in Borussia Dortmund, one of the top teams in Germany.
Yeah.
And played at the academy, developed through them, had to learn German and all this shit. He was dedicated. So now you have this other kid, Weston McKennie, that I think is 17 or 18, that starts at another German top division team. So it's like if you're 17 and then you're in the NBA, you might not be in the Cavaliers or the Boston Celtics, but you're Detroit Pistons. You know,
you're riding the bench for the Detroit Pistons.
But
you're still making a help.
But he's starting at 17.
Okay.
Because in soccer, it doesn't matter what age you are.
Yeah, because
like Ronaldo,
we talked about it a few weeks ago. Was it Freddie Adu?
Freddie Adu was starting at 13.
13. I thought 14, but 13. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this. We see that.
Yeah.
You got him all worked up.
I shouldn't have tortured myself listening to this shit all day.
Man, don't get him started on football. Okay, so we've got. We know about overseas. We know about how pretty much they recruit from a young age. They pay for, they bring them up. Why is the U.S. so against going to a system where they base? Now we do have IMG Academy down here close to Florida, but there's a few other prep schools around the country. But why are there not more? Why is America so against developing
the number one sport in the world?
Not only that, but just other. I'm thinking of other sports now too, like. Why is there not more for tennis, for swimming, for, I'm going to bring this up because I'm a weightlifter, for weightlifting, powerlifting. Why do we have to go through the old standard of, and I'm not saying get rid of the old standard of education, like math, English, all that. I'm saying why can't we incorporate that in with specialty schools for sports when...
Like an academy, like how Barcelona does it at Real Madrid.
When we see... that our society is so sports driven. I mean, okay, the number one business in America is the military.
Right.
Number two is, don't quote me on this, it's got to be sports.
Right.
I mean,
revenue driving. Yeah.
I don't see there's any competition. And then maybe Apple. But
but Apple, even them, like they sponsor shit through. They get their name out there through sports.
Right.
Like if you didn't see name an athlete here. You know what I mean? With an iPhone, it wouldn't be the marketing. So the athlete drives the market. And you're totally right. So the mistake that we're making, like I wish I had the perfect reason as to why U.S. isn't dominant with this, right? And those other sports. Is because a lot of them are clowned upon, right? Like if you're a 13-year-old girl, for example, and you want to be a professional bodybuilder, right?
Yeah.
You're like, you'll have the stigma of, oh, you want to look like a guy. You know what I mean? And
actually, bodybuilding for women is being phased out because now it's all just figure and bikini.
Exactly. Like
bikini's really going to take over. I bet in 10 years, figure's not even going to be.
Yeah, because I saw that from Pumping Iron.
Yeah.
Was it Pumping Iron? They talked about that black chick that's with the
it's
Asian dude.
No, it's the new Generation Iron 2.
Yeah, Generation Iron 2.
Yeah.
So the reason why I don't like that is why, like. If that's the goal that woman wanted, who are you to tell her, oh, that doesn't look good? Oh, no, but you don't get to once have it and then take it away because these people dedicated 30, 35 years of their life to this. This is their livelihood.
That woman that you're talking about,
I wish I can't remember her name.
I can't believe it's on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember it right now. She had won, I want to say 6 or 7 straight Miss Olympia. She's Arnold Schwarzenegger of the win, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And
because it doesn't look good.
And then so they canceled the women's bodybuilding a couple years ago. She tried to go to another show, and they tried to get her to go to a smaller show to requalify. And she's like, Are you kidding me? I'm a 7, 8, 9, whatever time Miss Olympia, and you're going to make me go requalify just because you guys got rid of our division?
Yeah.
Like, so this is what I'm thinking is, going back to soccer,
Right.
because that's kind of what we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand why our society puts such an emphasis on sports, but yet when we try to make it our entire life and somebody tries to make it their career, there are too many barriers.
They're, like you're saying, like why they're like ostracized, like why they made fun of it because they made sport their life and they didn't follow the norm.
So
and
like
the establishment,
and you look at those people like, oh, they're just dumb jocks.
right?
But you know what?
10,000 hours though. Right?
They might be, something like that.
Yeah.
The people that focus in and might put all their concentration on sports at a young age might be the smartest people that we have in this society because they understand from a young age what the society business is driven.
Right.
Our society is not driven towards math teachers.
Yeah.
It's not even driven towards doctors anymore.
They find the thing that's, and you're completely right, and the thing that I find funny about that is because of that, right? Like, they from a young age knew, oh, I'm going to be tall because my doctor told me I was going to be tall. I should play basketball. Dedicated their entire life to playing basketball, makes it to the NBA, but then you criticize him because he didn't get a college degree. Not everybody needs to have a college degree. Bill Gates doesn't have one. Bill Gates dropped out of school. Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of Harvard. Like, it happens. A degree or anything doesn't, for everybody, it doesn't apply.
Right.
You know what I mean? And everybody finds their own lane. You shouldn't be criticized for finding your own path and designating that at a young age. You should be applauded. Like, if they made that their life at 4, and at 34 they're a millionaire, and LeBron James is going to end up owning a basketball team that went straight out of high school into the NBA, you shouldn't be criticized because he passes he makes the right basketball play in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying?
I have 2 points about college athletes that when people get into arguments with me about whether they should be paid or if they should be able to just go straight to the pros, I throw out these 2 arguments and I almost never get a rebuttal.
Right.
Because it's this simple. What is the purpose of going to college? Not to grow up and get mature. It's to get a job, right?
Get a job. That's it.
Well, if you can get a job without going to college,
why do you have to go to college?
Why do you have to go to college?
Yeah.
And number 2 is, so people that go to college on like academic scholarships and stuff like that, you know, they get grants, they get money coming in to help them.
Students that go to like MIT and stuff like that who are trying to develop like a cure for cancer and stuff like that, they get money.
Yeah, not just money to pay for their classes, they get like living money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And athletes don't.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some things in life that are so damn ridiculous that like it makes me mad to even try to think about because it's like, how can you justify this? It's like I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Something about I was listening to Mike and Mike one time, and Mike Golick was talking about how when his sons were at Notre Dame, about the bagel thing.
Where you can't have a second or third bagel if you had a bagel.
You can have a bagel, but it can't be with cream cheese.
Yeah.
And then it was illegal. Like, who seriously has the fucking time to sit around and think of that rule?
I have no idea. Like, it doesn't
seriously.
It doesn't make any sense to me because let's say it's the top player. Let's say it was Deshaun Watson at Clemson, right?
Right.
And he got suspended for getting cream cheese on his bagel. So then,
God, I could see that one.
Clemson University makes hundreds of millions of dollars from Deshaun Watson and every other single player on the field. So why would the NCAA try to regulate that when they're for making money for the universities? You know what I mean? Like, I've never, for the life of me, I can't understand it. And I always start this, the whole reason I started this podcast happens to me. I have the shining moment in every podcast. It's like, I just got questions. You know what I mean? Like, how does this make sense? How is it that in a world where we have, in a country where we have the First Amendment, when people use it, you shouldn't be able to use it because it offended me? How, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, like, on a random, like, how is it that you can, that these players, like Mark Walton just went down, our running back.
Yes.
Like, he destroyed his ankle. I knew it was going to happen because it was just asking too much.
I haven't seen it. Season ending.
Season ending, yeah. So we got it back. I'm not sure if it's homer. Like, this kid, thankfully, University of Miami has a partnership with Baptist Hospital down south, and he could get the surgery and get it taken care of, and that's cool. But if you're a player that doesn't have those means and you're playing at a smaller school, how does that help? You get what I'm saying? Like I don't. NCAA is so weird to me, man. And I told you from the very first podcast. Like I have a problem with authority to begin with.
Right.
I have a problem with somebody telling me what I can and cannot do at all points in my life, which is one of the reasons why I got.
I think that's all Miami people.
Yeah, it is. It's all of us. Like that's one of the reasons why I couldn't. Why I couldn't stay in the military long, because if you're stupid, I'm not gonna qualify it because you got in here a year before me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna follow your command because because you're higher rank. Like I know you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, you're still stupid. Like your stupidity doesn't change.
Gunfire's off to the right, about 500 clicks.
Yeah.
Why don't you head that way? Why don't you go fuck yourself?
Yeah, go fuck you. No, I'm not doing that.
Jeez.
I don't know.
And goddamn it, the Cubs are still down 1-0.
What inning is it?
By the time they listen, in the bottom of the sixth.
By the time they listen to us, the game will probably be
by the time you're listening to this, the Cubs will have come back and they'll be moving on to the NLCS. That's all you need to know.
Will they play the Nationals, or are they playing the Nationals now?
They're playing the Nationals now. They'll play the Dodgers.
That's good. Dodgers and Cubs.
Yeah, but we got them. We got them last year, so.
Yeah, that's true. We'll probably do it again. That was crazy. But it frustrates me with. So I get a lot of shit. Like it's surprising to me, like how much people aren't into soccer. You know what I mean? Like because if you go to anywhere else in the world, it's the number one sport.
They're like, what the fuck's basketball?
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck? Barcelona has like a basketball team, but it's sponsored. It's like a sideshow of the football team.
Yeah.
Like all these different teams. Like I don't get it. Like I don't understand how that entire administration, from the head coach to the president to every player, isn't fired. Like I don't want anybody back. Anybody.
Okay, but here's another question. Do you really think it's their fault? Like, okay, and this is what I mean. Do you think that it's bad coaching, bad management, or do you think that our players are just not good enough?
No, it's all of the above.
Because you can have a great. Phil Jackson was not a great coach.
He had Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal.
I take that back. I'm a Chicago guy. Phil Jackson was a great coach, but he had.
Was he a great coach though, or did he have some of the greatest players of all time?
Both, and I'll tell you this why. Because him and Tex Winter.
Jerry Krause ruined them though, right?
Well, yeah, we don't bring him up.
But
they developed the triangle. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just that he had the great players and told them to go play. He put them into a system that made them even better. Right. Now, would they have still won championships if he said go out there and street ball? Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right. But triangle wouldn't work now.
Yeah, but you know what made Phil Jackson a great coach, in my opinion, is that he took Ron Harper.
That made him a point guard.
Well, he was already a point guard, but he made him an all-star point guard.
Yeah. No.
Ron Harper was a good player in Cleveland. He came over. He might have been somewhere else before Chicago, but he started in Cleveland.
Right.
And when he came over, he was just kind of one of those like
I never heard
mid-tier.
I had never heard of him until he got to Chicago.
Luke Longley.
Never heard of him. The Australian sensation.
Yeah, I mean
Bill Cartwright.
I mean, Judd Bushler.
Judd Bushler. Oh my
Number
God.
30, draining the trays out there.
John Sally was on there too.
Towards
the end though.
John Sally was already a hell of a player though.
Yeah. He had great years in Pistons.
Hell, we even had a year with Robert Parrish.
Yeah.
I want to say that was
towards the end, right? Like
96. I want to say that was the first year that Jordan came back after retirement. We beat the Sonics in 96.
96, 97, 98. No,
97, 98 was we back-to-back with Utah and beat them.
Right, but you guys did 3 straight. So Jordan came back in 95 because the thing they don't want to talk about because he had played
the Orlando
thing. Yeah, the Orlando series.
Yeah, first full season back.
Right. So, and what you asked me was, is it the coaching? Is it the play?
Yes.
It's all of it. It's all of it. Because
you think it's the system?
Because here's what, because I'm in a group chat, right, with 3 of my friends. All of us balls deep into soccer.
Okay.
Like we know, like they know way more than I do. Like I'm probably 3rd or 4th on that list. No, probably 4th on the people who know the most on the ranking, right? Like I'm last, and I know a good amount. So the reason why they suck and why I'm not surprised, because I watched every game in the Hex, which is the thing to qualify into the World Cup. The reason why I'm not surprised is because, and I thought about it yesterday and I thought about it all of today, is that their best player is 19 years old, right? Okay. Their second best player, Clint Dempsey, if you want to put him in there, if you don't want to talk about Josie Altidore and all those guys, is 36.
Dempsey's 36.
Yeah, maybe 35. Who cares? Old as fuck for an athlete.
Yeah.
But so there's a 17-year gap there. There's no huge players in between. There's no great players in between.
What happened in that generation in between?
I have no idea. That goes to the development of the players. There's 2 World Cups that nobody talks about that we didn't even qualify for.
But okay, so that's why.
No, I'm sorry, not World Cups. Olympics.
Yeah.
Because Olympics is under 21, right? So because it's
because
men's national team has the U15s because they do designate players from a young age.
They're like U19.
There's U15s, U17s. There's a World Cup going on right now with them with the U17s. They have some great players, man, and it scares me. Like I could go into it, but there's 2 generations of players that just didn't develop. We don't have any of them.
And that's why I go back to saying, do you think that a different coach
it has
could
to
do
no,
anything
but it
better?
has to be from. I heard the fish rots from the head down.
Right.
Everybody has to go, because if you can't develop, if your best player is 19, which you did not develop,
Right.
Borussia Dortmund did, Germany did, right? You had nothing to do with him. He blesses you with the fact that he's American.
Right.
Because if we don't have any Pulisic, who the fuck does it? He accounted for.
Does he have dual citizenship?
No, he's American. He just plays in Germany.
Okay.
Yeah. So he accounted for her crazy stat, and I looked it up. He either scored or assisted on 70% of their goals. He's 19, bro.
Soccer, that's crazy.
19. That's like LeBron James. Only 3 shots in one game. He didn't help.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Which isn't far off from the truth, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. LeBron James has a hand in everything.
Oh,
so he's Michael Jordan. He's LeBron James.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we didn't develop this LeBron James. We didn't develop this Michael Jordan. Most of everybody else failed when they try to go to Europe.
So let me ask you this then. What is your ultimate, if you ran the world, what would be your...
That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What would be your ultimate solution to this issue? Would you,
If I ran like U.S. soccer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Would you, start more academies in, like, IMG, like these other ones we've talked about, and start them from an early age?
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, would you just go out and search for a new president, new coach, all this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Or number 3, I don't think I have a number 3.
Okay.
What would be your option?
All right. So this is if I had a realistic way of doing this, right?
Right.
So if I was a multi-billionaire and I didn't give a shit about money anymore, I would fire everybody, right? Because it can't be. I would have a meeting with every trainer, every single person. I'd get some of the best players of all time. Mm-hmm. I'd have them I'd do like a panel interview with every single fucking person. And because I don't know soccer to the level these guys will, right?
Right.
Like the Ronaldos, and just if I had a dream of it, and I have them talk and see where their head is at and why they're failing. Like they would have to tell me why can't you develop players? Because what I don't understand is if we have the money, which we do, got $1 billion in sponsors and all that stuff, we have the money to develop it. Why we can't get a better coach, right? Like, and it's coaches everywhere down the line at the academies, because all the MLS teams have academies.
Okay.
Right? And given this is a huge sport where everybody in the world plays it, and now we're in it. Like we've qualified for every game every time for the World Cup in the last 30 years. This is the first time in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Literally, you're 32, 33.
I'll be 33 next month.
I'm 33. This is the first time I've ever seen a World Cup without the U.S. So it almost felt like an entitlement that we're supposed to go. So what I would do is...
I think they said, not to interrupt, I think they said Tim Howard was the only player on the team that's seen the last time we weren't in it.
Mm-hmm. He's the only one. 38 years old. But again, he's 38.
Yeah.
There's nobody threatening for their spot. So that's one thing that I got from Taylor Twellman and another podcast that I listened to, Total Soccer Show, right?
Okay.
Is that at every training session, your spot is up for grabs. Yeah. That doesn't happen at the U.S.
Competition everywhere.
Competition at everything. Like that's what Clemson. They have 3-4 deep. Yeah. Ohio State. Like you name a great school and a great program, the players
get a plug and play system.
Exactly. But you're getting pushed for your position every single snap because everybody wants your spot. When you have this guy makes me the most upset out of anybody. When you have Michael Bradley, right? Yeah. Their team captain. To me, a captain is supposed to be a leader, digging people's asses, and always be the best. I can't name you a moment when he looked upset yesterday. Really? You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And that might be the system that, for some people, they don't have that personality. But if you're a captain and for the first time in your life, your team does not qualify for the World Cup, which hasn't happened in 30 years, you give up your captaincy. You make a public, you show, listen, I don't deserve this. You don't just say, hey, well, man, we're embarrassed. Things happen. Or Bruce Arena, the head coach.
Yeah.
Well, this is a blemish.
I've never been a fan of his.
Bruce Arena goes, this is a blemish. What? Excuse me, sir.
It's a fucking disgrace.
You're an embarrassment. Like, dude, I've tweeted today so much that I felt like Trump. Like I was just tweeting like crazy. I was at you. I was adding U.S. Soccer. I was hashtagging Bruce Arena. Like, I actually called U.S. Soccer Federation.
Did you?
I did. I was going to record it, but you can't record it on a call, because it made me very upset.
Yeah. So, now see, one thing you said, and actually 2 points real quick. I thought you brought up a good point about how you would bring other people in and see what their professional eyes think that we need.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem with, obviously with soccer, but also with business in general, is that there's too much micromanagement.
Yeah.
From the top.
Yeah.
And number 2 is, you mentioned something about a captain being, the best player, digging your ass and all that.
It doesn't necessarily have to be the best player, but it has to be a leader. Like
that was the point I was going to make, is that I don't necessarily agree that he has to be the best player.
Right.
I think he has to exemplify the morals, the hard work ethic, the discipline, and not everybody's made. Just because you're a great, great player does not mean that you are made to be a captain.
True.
Honestly, in some of those teams, and going back to the Bulls and stuff, Michael Jordan should not have been the captain.
Hell no. Michael Jordan was an asshole.
Yeah, I mean,
if you realistic, he punched Steve Kerr during practices.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, the guy was a dick. John Paxson. Like, this is who he was.
Well, it's funny you bring up Paxson. That was the story I was going to bring when I was little, because I'm from Indiana.
Right.
Okay, so I went down to a Steve Alford basketball camp.
Yeah.
And
UCLA coach.
Oh yeah.
UCLA coach. Yeah.
And he told stories and stuff right outside of Chicago.
Right.
And Paxton was putting on a camp, and I was a hell of a free throw shooter back in my day, and out of the whole camp, I won, so I got to go up against Paxton for a free throw contest. I was probably 13, 14 years old, something like that. And so I got to have some time to sit off and talk to him a bit, so I kind of asked him a few questions about playing with Jordan and all that stuff. And he told me about a fight that they got into at practice and how he got punched by Jordan and stuff like that. And
Jordan's a huge asshole.
And me being a 13, 14-year-old kid idolizing Jordan growing up, I'm like,
he's definitely a person you never want to meet.
What do I think here? What?
You're not. Your undeveloped brain at that age is not ready to process that one of the greatest athletes you've ever seen is a dick.
Yeah,
it's not something that you're cool
I don't even
with.
think I knew what being a dick was.
Exactly.
At that point, but,
so
the being the leader thing and everything, I'm glad that you clarified that, because what's U.S. Soccer Bradley, yeah, he might have all those qualities to be a good leader, but he might have known for many, many months now that the country, our country, has not put together the guys to win this.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it takes away.
Guys.
Well, yeah.
Right.
But he's not going to throw himself off the team.
Right. And I'm not saying to do that, but I'm saying yesterday, don't give me coach speak. Right. Don't give me Bill Belichick language. I don't want.
Next question.
Next one. Well, things happen. No, I don't want to hear that, bro.
On to San Diego.
I don't want he goes. He should say some shit like, at this point, everybody has to be reevaluated, including myself. Yeah. And until that moment, until I earn back this captaincy, I rebuke it. I don't want it. Not to say, well, things happen. For Bruce Arena to say it's a blemish. Hey,
that's
bro,
horrible.
You're in the easiest division, which is CONCACAF.
Yeah.
You really only have two teams that are better than you, and even they shouldn't be better than you. There's no reason why you don't qualify easily. You only have 3 victories out of 15 games. 3 victories. You lost to a team that was on a 10-game losing streak.
So what do you think the, negative appeal to soccer for kids growing up nowadays is? Because obviously we're not having the development of these kids because there's no show of interest in the development.
Right. Well,
so is it the money?
I think it's growing, but I think it is the money. I think it's growing.
Or lack of money.
The interest is growing, but the fact that World Cup is next year, July, right?
Yeah.
I think it starts in July in Russia. The whole world watches, right? Imagine if the U.S. makes it strongly, right? Like they win their group, they go into the World Cup with all this confidence, and Christian Pulisic is blasted on TV everywhere, right? Look at this 19-year-old
exposure. And
yeah,
stuff
like all this exposure all over Fox, because that's where the World Cup's gonna be on. All over this shit, like you gotta burn it into the consciousness of America.
I agree.
Right now right now you'll get soccer on like FS2, on ESPN3 when on 2 o'clock when it's competing against college football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It gets buried now, and it does. Like if you put U.S. soccer in that position and you have a legit superstar in Christian Pulisic, other kids are gonna be like, man, I want to be like him. Right? Because when you were
Donovan, we had Dempsey.
Not
I mean, back in their prime, I mean,
yeah, but back in the, like, you got to think about it now with
they might not have been the player that he is, but from superstar attractive level, like he's right up. Both those guys and more were right up there. And it never worked.
When they were playing, when Landon Donovan, we didn't have the networks we have now, right? We didn't have we had ESPN, but we didn't have ESPN2, ESPN Classic, Fox Sports.
ESPN2's been 20 years.
Fox Sports is brand new. Fox is what has all soccer. How many times did you watch soccer besides men's national team?
Yeah.
How many times was soccer on television?
No, I can't tell you.
Exactly, right? We would have remembered. Like we're lifelong sports fans.
Yeah.
You couldn't say it. Besides the World Cup game, you couldn't mention it.
Okay, so going back to your point, as far as
our most memorable moment of World Cup of soccer is women when Brandy Chastain took her shirt off. That was women's soccer, and they get shitted on. They're actual World Cup and Olympic champions.
Yeah, that is some bullshit. But okay, so you're saying that the stations need to flash his face all over.
Well, not anymore because he's not going to be in the World Cup. If he would have been.
If he would have been. But my point is, yes, that would work. That would be a great advertising tool.
But you still need an overhaul of how World Cup U.S. soccer does it.
But in order to put him on there and get the attraction, there has to be a need.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no need. Like, the stations aren't just going to create a need.
Right.
They're going to feed off of what society's saying. And right now, there is no need for soccer.
With Christian Pulisic, right? So the weird thing about him, they show a lot of Bundesliga, which is German soccer, the top division.
Okay.
Right? So he plays for their best team. Right now he comes off the bench because, again, you get pushed for your position. Like, no, you're not entitled to anything. You don't get it because you're Michael Jordan. If Ron Harper can play your position and he plays it better than you from match to match, from practice to practice, you're not entitled to anything.
Yeah.
Right? So when you're in that constant,
brings up a really good point. We're an entitled nation.
We're an entitled nation. Dude.
I mean, it just fits all right in.
When you have these players that, again, like I watch European soccer, so it's a higher level. I watch some South American soccer when like the national teams, it's a higher level. When you watch American soccer, and that's the MLS, the US, it's robotic as shit, right? It's not. There's no feel for the game. Like I can say this back 20 years. Like it's very pass, receive. Oh, he's making a run. Let me kick it. You know what I mean? Like it's not bred into the players naturally. I don't know if that's coaching. I don't know if their soul is taking it. Because these players play this game to this level because they love the sport. So I'll give the players a break in that sense. I put it on development because Christian Pulisic isn't this phenomenal athlete in the sense that he's ripped he's 19 years old.
Yeah.
He's still growing.
See, I think we're both I don't mean to speak for you, but tell me if I'm wrong. I think we're under the same general impression that we don't think the players are not playing hard.
Right.
They are playing as hard as they can because,
within
just
a set
like
of
you
rules.
said, they have the passion for
Right.
it. This isn't just like going through the motions for them. So we're not sitting here complaining that the players aren't giving it their all. We're just saying that their all is severely lacking because of development from 20 years prior.
Yep.
So this is an issue that's going back we'll even say 30 years from the last time.
So
34, 35 years, the last time we didn't make it. And so this is not an acute problem right now.
Not.
This is a chronic problem that has manifested for the last 3 decades.
And it came to a head yesterday.
Yeah.
So because we always made it to the World Cup,
it was masked.
Yeah, it was masked. Where other people were like, I mean, it's natural. Even me, like I'm not a fucking oblivious to it. Where you're just like, hey man, we're gonna make it. We always have.
Yeah.
So I think, and that permeates through the players. We're like, we're gonna find the way. We always have. When you have that belief and you don't attack it, and you're not entitled, and you feel entitled to it, you're gonna lose, and you're gonna have like a game like yesterday. But the game yesterday was just a final nail in the coffin because I saw every game. To say that, oh well, going on the road is tough. Well, no shit. But you shouldn't come out with a draw because the referee gave one bad call and that messed up your whole flow.
Yeah.
There's no, because other teams face the same road teams, and they go out and win.
Right.
Mexico played in Honduras, they beat their ass. Mexico played in Trinidad and Tobago, they beat their ass.
Yeah.
Mexico plays Costa Rica, they beat their ass, and vice versa. Like each team plays on the road. The U.S. isn't some fucking snowflake, some baby thing. They're like, oh guys, just try it once.
Yeah.
Even though you've never played it. It's still soccer, right? Like,
yeah.
It's still the same thing where you have to turn your foot when you kick the ball, stop it with your heel, you know what I mean? Defend, keep a fucking...
If any sport
keep
came
a
down
back
to the
line.
basics, it would be, as much as soccer, I would be surprised. I mean, soccer is one of the most basic sports. I mean,
and there's an incredible amount of talent. Yes, the way somebody can kick it, given. And it's all, some of it is the genetics, and a lot of it is hard work. Cristiano Ronaldo, my favorite player, busts his ass like he's earned nothing.
Right. Because
he knows he has everything to lose if he has a bad game. Yeah. You can't go into it. Yesterday, Josie Altidore, because I watched every second, doesn't get the ball, just throws his hands up and runs the other way.
I guess maybe this...
I think he's 27.
This thought just kind of popped into my mind. Do you think that some of these issues... And let's expand this past soccer to all American sports. Do you think that some of these lackadaisical moments and not competing hard sometimes, do you think that would all go away if there was no guaranteed contracts ever?
Yeah, there should.
And do you think there should be?
There shouldn't be guaranteed. So guaranteed contracts are a weird thing. Guaranteed contracts are weird that every other sport has it except for football. The game that can literally kill you, right? Yeah. So you literally have brain trauma. Like every kid.
I would argue baseball too. Getting hit in the head with a baseball.
On rare occasions though, right? Like how often do you get hit in the head? And football.
Line drives back to the pitcher.
Right, but that.
I know. I'm just trying.
You know
to
what I'm saying?
ass.
Though, like yeah.
No, but baseball's my favorite sport.
No, it's a thing where like, and you can get hit in the balls, you get hit in the face.
Yeah.
Giancarlo Stanton last year got hit in the face. Like it happens, but they get their money. Like if Giancarlo Stanton tomorrow got in an accident and was paralyzed, he's getting the rest of his money.
Yeah.
Allen Houston, New York Knicks, destroyed both his knees. I think 3 years ago they just stopped paying him. I'm probably exaggerating.
I got to bring up this guy.
Fuck Allen Houston, everything he stands for. I'm a Heat fan, so.
Okay, so Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah,
is still getting paid by the Mets.
So 2031, I think.
It's in the 20s, I think.
Or some stupid shit. Yeah, exactly.
But it's like 1.2 mil. Don't quote me on this, guys, but it's like 1.2 million. Okay, now answer me this. Was that
we still got to get back to that until the contract. Yeah.
Was that the smartest?
Dumbest.
No. Was he the smartest businessman, like as a player, or was that the dumbest thing for the Mets to do?
I mean, it has to be both, right? Because for things to work out well, it has to be two working pieces.
You think?
It has to be, right?
Well, but is it working out well? The Mets are getting screwed. They're wasting all this money that they can spend on talent.
It takes the Mets to be stupid and Bobby Bonilla to be shrewd and smart.
I thought you meant both of them being smart.
No. Somebody has to be for somebody to win out. Somebody has to be stupid and somebody has to be smart. Cubs last year, right? They have that.
I don't know where are you going with this.
Seventh inning stretch.
Cubs are my team.
No. Seventh. They have that rain delay. That weird rain delay after
Game
the
7.
night,
yeah.
Right, and Cleveland Indians just check out, right? Like and Cubs wanted it more. The Cleveland Indians had to check out, and the Cubs had to come out
See, I don't know if it's all. I don't know if I think
Like-
98% of the time I would definitely agree with you, but I think there are those rare occasions where nobody just gives up. It's just the ball just bounces the right way for some team. I don't think effort has anything to do with that. And with baseball, I think that's especially true because of
No, but if you're on a playing field, right?
yeah.
On the same, and if one gives more effort and your effort isn't the same, those two things have to happen. Like, perfect example, 2011, 2010 Miami Heat, right? The first year they have LeBron, they go to the finals, they lose to Dallas. In no world should Miami have lost to Dallas.
No.
Right? Well, Dallas's effort was much higher than Miami's. So if Miami plays at the same level of effort as Dallas, there's no way Dallas has a chance. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
I'm not saying because I know I brought up the Cubs, and it's a sensitive thing. Like, if you would have brought up my Hurricanes, I would have been, hey, watch your motherfucking mouth. But take that aside. Team A, if Team B has higher quality of players, but Team A has higher effort, and Team A is far exceeding their effort as opposed to Team B, Team A is going to win out.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you work out with somebody who's clearly bigger than you, right? Like, but let's say genetically
gifted.
Yeah. The camera's gonna get the quotes, the podcast.
Right. We're doing here.
Genetically gifted. That you're gonna outwork them because you have the work ethic, right? So they're probably not gonna want to work out with you, even though they have the bigger and better. You know what I mean? But your work ethic, overrides their genetics. You get what I'm saying?
I understand. Like, I definitely agree. I'm just being devil's advocate here.
No, that's fine.
Technically, yes. I mean, the definition of a winner and a loser is somebody was better than the other.
Yeah.
With the baseball analogy I was trying to come up with was like, okay, so say
Bobby Bonilla?
No, with the Cubs,
right?
Game 7. So I mean, this isn't exactly what happened, but I'm gonna throw out the scenario. So say there's a runner on second. It's bottom of the ninth. Okay.
Game's tied, 2 outs.
Game's tied, 2 outs. All the stereotypical shit.
Yeah.
Pitcher gives his best effort.
Right.
Throws the best curveball he's ever thrown. Okay.
Right.
The hitter gives his best effort. He hits the ball and it lands right in that spot.
Where in between,
two players, and the runner from second scores. Now, that is where I sort of am making this point, is that both gave their best efforts, and technically what you're saying is yes, true. Obviously, the hitter's best effort was better than the pitcher's, but was it? But because he just hit it into a spot where there happened to not be anybody.
Right. If he hits it a quarter inch to the right or left, it gets caught for foul. Yeah, I mean, hard work. What's it? Hard work beats talent
every time.
Hard work beats talent every time. But luck is thrown somewhere in there, right?
Yeah.
Like, if Michael Jordan misses that jumper against Craig Elo,
shot on Elo, good.
Exactly. Like, if
I love it.
If Adam Vinatieri misses that field goal against Carolina, are we talking about Tom Brady as the best ever? You know what I mean? Like, it's all these different series of events that have to happen. But
Tuck rule.
Yeah, exactly. If that bullshit has,
my brother.
We will do a podcast probably next Wednesday or some point of my hatred of Tom Brady and why I think the New England Patriots sold their soul to the devil. But I'm not going to bring that up.
Good.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. Like, how does a team with a 40-year-old... never mind. But back to U.S. soccer. I'll go with what I would do to fix it, and then we'll move on to macros, because I really want to talk about that. So, what I would do is interview everybody and get a, because I don't want to be a king of it. You know what I mean? I'll get a panel like King Arthur and his knights, like everybody's equal, and we'll make a decision from them. But what I would do is bring over a player development director or assistant director from a huge program, like
in America or from overseas.
From overseas.
Now, how does that work? Because is there some sort of, I don't know this much about soccer rules and stuff like that, but like I've known other sports where like we've had foreign coaches.
Mm-hmm. We have.
Now, do they have to be dual citizens, or can they still?
No, they doesn't matter.
It's like a work visa.
It's like a work visa, pretty much. Like
that's bullshit.
Yeah, but the head coach of Panama is Colombian. Like that, as far as men's national team coaches, it doesn't matter. For the most part, the teams that are successful, I don't know every team. There's 32 teams in the World Cup. I don't know if every team has a coach that either played for that country or is from that country, but it varies, right?
But that's what I'm saying.
But like,
how is that even possible?
Bruce Arena's American. Most of the coaches we've had, except for the one we had right before Bruce Arena, was Jurgen Klinsmann, has been an American-born coach. Because the thing is that here's how I look at it, right? The rest of the world is more advanced in soccer than we are.
Yeah, no,
right?
Understandable.
Right?
Totally agree.
So why not get somebody who's more advanced? And like, if I could get,
because it's the American team,
right? But you have to learn.
How is there no?
You have to learn.
How is there no possibility of corruption?
You have to learn world soccer. No,
you bring a Russian coach over here, and he's going to fuck up our program.
What I'm saying is, as far as the player,
that's what I think.
I know, great conspiracy theory. But as far as like the player development, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and that can happen, and that's why you vet, obviously, shit like that. But you bring a guy who knows how to develop these young kids and knows how to spot the talent, and hires the right kind of people, because it has to be from the grassroots up.
Yeah.
Soccer is a young man's sport. Like, the best player in Spain is 21. The second best player in Spain is 19. The third best player, you know what I mean? Like, it's kids that do this shit. And you'll have veterans sprinkled in there, but you shouldn't have one of the oldest teams.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, because then it shows that either every single one of those players is entitled to their spot. Michael Bradley, Omar Gonzalez,
right.
DeAndre Yellen's a young guy, so I'm not going to put him in there. But Clint Dempsey and all these people, what gives them the right? Because they've been there?
I think the reason that they're still around, to be honest, is because we don't have anybody good enough to take their spots.
But how do we know that? Because nobody ever. You don't give these other guys.
You don't think that they've tested it out and seen other people?
They don't even call him in.
No.
No, like that guy I told you from Germany, Weston McKennie, haven't even called him in. There's no influence of young talent. Christian Pulisic is it. You got DeAndre Yellen and Paulo Arriola, which I think one of the few players that are in their 20s.
Okay.
Christian Pulisic isn't even there yet. The majority of other teams, if you watch the World Cup,
have they given a reason why they haven't brought these?
They just don't even talk about it. It's arrogance, dude. Like, it's plain arrogance. Weston McKennie doesn't come in. Tyler Adams plays for New York City, New York Red Bulls, right? So it's not even like a long flight. He's already in the States. He was one of the best players at the U19 World Cup.
I guess my question is,
and it's politics too, though.
But okay, we all know that politicians run on money,
right?
If this was a real political thing,
right,
you would want the best players in there to get the most money.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm not understanding. And
the reason why,
what is the benefit to them for keeping Dempsey in them and not bringing these younger guys in? If they already know we're a shitty ass team.
Familiarity, and fear, and
fear of what?
Fear of hurting. The only thing I can think of, like, I don't know,
image maybe.
No, hurting the players' feelings. Like, honestly,
that doesn't sound like a politician.
No, at all.
They don't give a shit.
No, exactly, doesn't sound like a politician. Like, I don't get why. Like, even in friendlies, when the games don't matter, we don't play young guys.
Here's what I think. And
our best young guys are overseas, and sometimes we don't want to call them in because the flight's too long. Like, legit shit.
I think this is all financially driven.
Yeah.
And the owner...
It's a clusterfuck of a thing.
There's more money in U.S. men's national team soccer than they lead on to believe.
Oh, they have $1 billion. They just got like $1 billion donation or some shit like that.
When you have that much money... and you know it's consistently going to come in, there's no need to make a change.
Here's the other crazy thing, and we'll end it with this.
Yeah.
So, we have 350, I said it today on Facebook, we have 365 million people in this country, right? Iceland has less people in their whole entire country, so the talent pool is smaller.
Right.
Than, like, Fort Worth, Texas. So...
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? Like, how it doesn't make sense. And they played in Europe, which is harder. So and they had to win their group, and they played good, solid, real opposition. We played countries that don't have a motherfucking thing. Yeah. And some of these players have to drive themselves to the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if we have all this money, we should have the coaches, the facilities, the when you're recruiting a player, the scouts. We should have the scouts, all these people making the right decisions. It shouldn't be, oh, well, if we get Weston McKennie from Germany, Michael Bradley might not start. Michael Bradley doesn't deserve a spot. No player deserves a motherfucking thing.
Yeah.
And they're all walk-ons. Because it shows you what happens when you've had Clint Dempsey there for 15 years. You have nobody. Then who do you develop behind them? Imagine if you have, like you said, you're a great free throw shooter.
Right.
But imagine if you never got in the game.
Yeah.
And the guy in front of you shot 78%. Solid. But you
Yeah.
could shoot 90. We don't know. If they never get a shot, you don't know. So I would have felt better with. Okay, we'll really end it with this. I would have felt better if the U.S. if they failed for the World Cup, but had a shit ton of young players. Right?
Because then you know what the future.
Then no, like, oh, these guys got experience.
Yeah.
They were right there on the cusp, just fell a little short. Very different than a ton of experienced players who played at 2 or 3 World Cups and just said,
Yeah.
the field's wet.
Maybe this is in their mind. This was the way to clear house. Like they needed to have. I'm talking as far as like from the president, all this stuff of all this. They needed the U.S. to see how shitty our team is right now in order to justify making the changes that you and I both think they need to make as far as bringing in new talent. Because the thing with Dempsey, with some of these other guys,
Landon Donovan,
they are America's sweethearts.
right?
Do you know how much backlash it would have been if they would have dumped them and they wouldn't have been in this?
Well, there was backlash when Darian Klinsmann dumped Landon Donovan.
Exactly.
4 years ago. Yeah.
But so their idea, this is my thinking, their idea is let's play out this. We know we're going to get smoked. We know it's going to be an embarrassment. And now we look like the good guys because we gave them one more chance. And now we have to, for the betterment of our country's national team, let these guys go and bring up the young talent. It's like an easy way out for them.
I would completely agree with you if that's what they said yesterday. What they said yesterday was...
Well, they're not ever going to say what they really...
No, but that's... At some point, you have to be a leader and not... Like, this is why... I'll give you this, like, quick political thing. Like, this is why I understand why Trump resonates with people. Because he never says what you're supposed to say. Right? Like, he just says what he's thinking. Like, fuck it, I'm going to just say it. Like, I don't want... Oh man,
no filter, nothing.
Oh, we're gonna try really hard. You know, we're gonna give it our best shot. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want a fucking cliche speech. For Bruce Arena to say nothing needs to be changed. Nothing needs to be changed. Like you can't even be retrospective in the fact that you just failed for the first time in 30 years.
Yeah. I've never heard a coach lose and say that. Like they always say, we need to go back to the drawing board or stuff.
Something. So.
No soccer. We're pissed off. 4 more years. We'll talk about it again.
And it's only going to get worse because they have the World Cup draw. We're not going to get called for that. All the games are going to be all over TV. We're not going to get... U.S. is...
But you know what? Tomorrow? Like, today it's all fresh.
Tomorrow will be
tomorrow, no one's going to remember this shit.
And that's the problem, right? Because nobody's going to care. And that's what they're hoping for. That's why I will tweet...
But that's just America in general.
Now, I know,
it's not just soccer.
But this is worse to me. Like, I was talking about it with my boys. And I was like, welcome to the 28-3... With the Atlanta Falcons losing.
Oh yeah.
But we're not Falcons. We're not Falcons. So it's like, oh shit, I can't believe we're watching this.
Right.
But we're Americans. Like this is our fucking team. This is like in 2006, right? Or 2008 when the U.S. didn't win in basketball. When they had LeBron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is that.
Yeah, that was the bronze medal year.
Yeah, and they didn't even medal.
Bad.
So
they
didn't medal. They
that's right.
They lost to like Spain and shit.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
That was Dwayne Wade.
I forget about that.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade's first year and all that shit. So,
all right. So where do you want to turn to now? You want to talk macros?
We're talking macros.
Training? What do you want to talk?
We're talking macros, and we're definitely going to talk training. What in the fuck are macros, and how do you win? Because I had the conversation with people. Different things you Google give me different things. I don't remember all of them. I just know it gave me a headache. So I was like, let me talk to you. Because I don't understand, because we talk about macros all the time when we text and talk and shit. And I was like, I just don't fully understand what macros are.
Okay.
So if you could break it down for the people. What's up, people?
What's up, guys? Thanks for still tuning in if you're here and got through that whole bullshit we talked about.
This is the first episode we do on YouTube, so. Episode 37. Yeah.
Okay, so a macronutrient, there's 3 major macronutrients.
Mm-hmm.
There's protein, there's carbohydrates, there's fat.
Okay.
Your food is made up of all of that.
Okay.
Now, not all food is micro nutrient dense, meaning like your iron, your vitamins, vitamin B, vitamin C, calcium, potassium, stuff like that. Those are all micro.
Okay.
Okay. Macros are what your food is made of, what helps you build.
Okay.
That's what provides you the energy, the building blocks for growth, for sustained life, everything like that. So protein being the building block, carbohydrates and fat are fuels.
Okay.
They are energy sources. A lot of people fall into this thinking that protein is an energy source, that just because you're taking in calories, it's going to give you energy. Protein's main purpose is for building. So think of think of you're building a house.
Okay.
You've got cylinder blocks, you're building up and everything. The cylinder blocks are the protein.
Okay.
Okay. Now the carbs and the fats are the workers that are going to build and stack up the blocks to build the house.
Okay.
So you can't build the house with just workers, right?
True.
You need protein.
You need protein.
That's why protein...
You need the materials.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why protein is by far, not even a question, not even an argument, the most important macronutrient that you need.
Okay. And how do you factor, because you were telling me earlier about fats, how do you factor how much protein a person should eat? So, like, if they wanted to do a diet, because what I don't like, because we'll talk about it in a minute, but like, what I don't like is like, oh, if you're using MyFitnessPal or things like this, oh, you're going to meet it here. Like, I shouldn't have to rely on this app. I should know what my serving size should be and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's all going to be, it's all going to be very, the thing about nutrition and training, it's very individualized.
Right.
But there are some standard guidelines that have been research proven that every human needs to at least meet. Now, just a normal person, not sedentary, just a normal everyday person, someone that's not bodybuilding, someone that's not an athlete,
moderately active person who goes for walks from time to time, works out.
Yeah. You want to take in, from the research, 0.8 grams per pound of body weight for protein.
So how do you factor that? You do 0.8 times your body weight?
Right.
Okay.
New research is coming out where they're even bumping that up to maybe 1 gram. But for athletes, bodybuilders, people like that are active, you want to be aiming for 1 to 1.5 grams. 1.5 grams is on the higher end, and that's going to be affected by the amount of carbohydrates you take in.
Okay.
Carbohydrates and fat spare protein being burned in the body. Okay. So, going back, protein can be used as an energy source, but I'll tell you the caveat to this. It's very inefficient. So what it's going to do is it's going to start pulling the amino acids out of your muscles and using that to create glycogen. Okay. Energy. The only two essential macronutrients that you need to survive is fat and protein. Carbohydrate is not an essential protein. You can go without ingesting a single carbohydrate for the rest of your life if you have adequate protein and fat and live a perfectly long life.
So, like how we were talking the other day, since I'm not doing keto anymore, which I had some like weird adverse reactions, because I guess I was like half in, half out with keto, and you can't do that.
You can't.
Like, there's no leeway with keto. You're either all fats or you're doing some other weird shit.
Yeah, pretty much to the extent. And people don't give themselves enough time to get into ketosis.
Right. Because like
some people hear 2-3 weeks. Honestly, it's like a 3-month process. It's like 12 weeks or more, and it's all individual.
Right. Like if you're, because you said it on the podcast before, like if you're doing keto, that's something good to do if you're not active at all, and you're just doing that as a natural fat burner or as a diet. You know what I mean? Or things like that.
It's not so much that it's a natural fat burner. Here's the thing: is that
because you're taking in fat, so you're not gonna. It changes.
You can still get fat on keto because it still comes down to calories in versus calories out.
Right.
The thing with keto that makes it why I'm not opposed to it, it's just not one of my favorites, is because people think that carbohydrates make you fat. Carbohydrates do not make you fat. Carbohydrates in excess over your calorie maintenance makes you fat. But you know what? if you're at that maintenance and you go over in protein, if you go over in fat, you'll still get
anything
fat.
in excess.
Anything in excess. So that's why carbs get a bad rap.
Right.
Keto is great for, I would say, for health reasons as far as chronic illnesses.
Right.
If you're just trying to do it to lose weight, in my opinion, you're limiting yourself, and you're, I don't want to say you're, how am I trying to say this? You're losing out on a lot of joy and benefits from enjoying life and food by just sticking to keto, because it says something about athletes not doing cardio, or not doing keto, I'm sorry. That's not good for athletes. And what I said about that before was it's not good for strength athletes.
Right.
Now, if you're an endurance type athlete, there's a lot of research out there that have been shown that it actually improves cyclists and swimmers and stuff like that.
Would that be because fats is fuel?
Yes.
So it works.
Because it's an aerobic activity.
Right. And you won't have like the excess in protein if you're eating the fats, because it won't pull the glycogen, which would like then. I want to say like asphyxiate the muscle. You get what I'm saying? Like it won't give it the fuel that it needs, because it's just giving if just giving the building material, right? But you're not having the fuels which the fats would give.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. You don't have to worry about.
I probably went like a really long way around that, but you understood what I meant.
Yeah. You don't really have to worry about, as long as you're taking in enough fat and or carbohydrates for your fuel source, for your energy source. You don't have to worry about amino acids being pulled from your muscles for energy. It's only when like people go on low carb, low calorie diets,
or like no carb diet.
Yeah, so they'll go on a no carb diet, but they'll also go on little to no fat.
Yeah,
and that's when your body
they don't even process that fat is important.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've talked to my friends about it. Like, oh, what do you mean? No. Like when I told them about keto, like wait, that doesn't make sense. You're not eating that much protein. I was like, no, man, you just flip it on its head a little bit. You're not eating all protein, but because a lot of people who do no carb, as far as the people I know, I can only speak for them, is that they'll do no carb, all protein, right? So they'll eat all chicken, right, which is basically either baked or if they do gangster shit like fucking boiled chicken.
That's what I do.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's gangster shit. That's gangster weight. That's Chael Sonnen calls it. So they'll do that. They'll do that and then eat like Brussels sprouts, you know what I mean? Just straight. They'll go straight, no carbs.
Well, vegetables are carbs.
I know, but I'm saying like I guess like simple carbs, like a rice.
Rice is not necessarily a simple carb. Rice is a simple carb.
Complex carb, yeah.
A simple carb would be like candy,
right?
Sugar,
simple
straight sugar.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of, this is going to be perfect lead into Halo Talk.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute.
We had like a list of like 8 things.
Yeah, and we usually get
Why do we even try to do a list, bro?
Just so that we actually feel good about ourselves.
We should do like old school, like I don't know if they did it in Indiana, but when I was going through the school, like the whole brainstorming thing.
Oh
like,
yeah,
you put
the bubbles.
The bubble, and then like you have the little branches of spider web coming off of it.
Yeah.
Why do we do this? This is the 3rd podcast. We're going to talk about all this. We didn't even cover Florida State, like Miami, Georgia Tech. Fuck the triple option. There, I covered.
Well, we'll have something to talk about after the game. Then.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm worried about that one. I really am. That's just such an emotional one. So back to carbs.
Here's a general rule.
And no carbs conversation.
Whatever you saturate your body with as far as a macronutrient, whatever is the overwhelming macronutrient, is what your body's going to learn to use as fuel.
Okay.
That's why when you have, and like I was going back saying, carbs and fat are protein sparing, which means that the amino acids in the protein do not get shuttled off and used. They actually go right to the muscle because there's an energy source that can be used instead.
Okay.
The fat. Or the carbohydrates. As carbohydrates decrease, you want protein and fat to increase.
Okay.
So if you're going high carb, and we're talking strength athletes here, guys. We're talking just normal people and stuff. We're not talking endurance athletes, anything like that. So to avoid weight gain and to maximize energy and stuff, you want to choose what fuel source you're going to have.
Right.
Are you going to be a high fat? Or are you going to be a high carb?
Right.
Protein always needs to be steady.
Okay.
So
even in keto.
People think high fat, they think low protein, and it's not that it's low protein, it's that it's moderate protein.
Mm-hmm.
It's that it's right at the minimum baseline protein.
Is that so? Keto, to understand it better, keto would be on a daily basis. Like you couldn't have on all protein there, right? You need to have you need to continue like pork chops,
because protein in excess will be broken down and converted into glucose, which will raise your insulin. Which is the whole purpose of keto, is that you do not want your insulin raised. Okay. That's why you keep fat, because fat slows down digestion, and that keeps your insulin levels low.
So with keto, because I want to really talk about that, because I was like, I guess that seems to be the new trend. And the only time, and I'll put him on the podcast as my boy. The only time I've seen a diet fully successful is Ula, right? Because he's a heavily active person, but that's the biggest change I've seen in somebody.
Yeah,
and he stuck to it. Because a lot of people post,
right?
I'm not sure you're seeing one. A lot of people post about a new diet they're on, but you don't see any body difference,
right?
You get what I'm saying? Like and another one of my boys, Chris, like him and his wife, have lost a lot of weight, but they're not doing keto. They're just really watching what they eat and condensing it down.
Which is the point I bring at the beginning, is that it's all about controlling your calories. Right. It's not about eliminating
and you can lose a ton of weight just controlling your calories and watching. Like
you're going to lose just as much weight. If you say your maintenance is 2,500 calories, all right? So say you're eating 2,000 calories and majority of it's a keto style,
right,
or you're eating 2,000 calories and you have it with carbohydrates in there also. You're going to lose the same amount of weight. And that's what people... It's not that keto's bad. It's not that keto's good. It's not that paleo is bad. It's not that paleo is good. It's not that all diets work because it creates a caloric deficit.
So, random question. Vegetarians can be fat, or is that not?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Cool. If you overeat,
vegans.
If you overeat,
sorry, I'm gonna get so roasted about vegans that. Oh my god.
Anytime that you overeat your maintenance, I don't care if you eat it all in carbs, if you eat it all in protein, if you eat it all in fat. If you go above, you're going to start gaining weight.
So how do you
It's just simple. It's just simple science.
Right. So for you, right, you're heavy into this shit, and so how do you space your meals out, and what do you eat to get your fats, to get your proteins, and to get your carbs? Like break down a day.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So about 5:30, I have a cup of black coffee, and then I'll do a...
We gotta talk about that in a minute too. Black coffee. Jesus Christ.
I do 5 egg whites.
Okay.
1 whole egg.
Do you break down the egg from like an actual egg, or do you just
I
buy
do
the
sometimes,
carton?
but sometimes I just buy the cartons.
Yeah.
I don't really have a preference.
Okay.
Either work. So 5 egg whites.
No yolk. Never yolk?
No.
Okay.
5 egg whites and then 1 whole egg.
Okay.
So I get my yolk in there.
Get your yolk in there.
And
which
then,
is fats.
Yes.
Right.
And a lot of vitamins and a lot of protein is still in that yolk.
Yeah.
There's actually more protein in the yolk than there is the egg whites.
Okay.
So I do that, cook it up. I put in 4 ounces of ground beef in it. So I make like an omelet out of it. And then eat that. I have a 1.5 cups dry measure of oatmeal.
Okay. Which any brand, or is there a specific?
I just do the old fashioned, like Publix brand.
Yeah, makes sense.
So a 1.5 cups, so that really equals out to about 3 cups, a big ass bowl of oatmeal.
Yeah.
And I do a whole like medium orange.
Right.
So that's breakfast.
What do you oatmeal water?
Yeah, just in water.
Some people use like almond milk.
Sometimes I'll put a little splash in there just for flavor, but it's not enough. Right now I need the extra calories, so it's not like I'm really tracking that hard, but I do still track in my off season because I still think there's an efficient approach to not gaining an excess amount of body fat while you're still putting on muscle.
So when you have your cut, it's
a little bit easier.
It's a little bit easier.
So that's meal 1. Lately, I've been going to train after that. Because when I get a couple meals on me, I start feeling too sluggish.
Yeah, and you feel like,
And breakfast goes through me so quick that like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go work out.
Was it because of the black coffee?
Yeah, it is. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that because I found that really weird. That was a weird
Yeah.
dynamic about that. I didn't see coming.
So then I'll go work out and everything, and then I've started doing this, and I never really liked using supplements very much, but I do a whey shake intra workout. So about 9 o'clock, 9:15, I'll have that. Like,
where do you get it from? Vitamin?
Yeah, Vitamin Shop. Any
Vitamin Shoppy.
Just any basic. I use Dimetize or BPI. But just something because I don't make smoothies on it. I just throw it in my water. I chug it. Yeah. Last 20, 30 minutes of my workout.
I've never done a smoothie.
Yeah, I mean, they are good, but I just don't do it anymore. So I have that to hold me over until I get home after the workout.
Okay.
Just so that, because when you're working out, you're very catabolic. Your body is eating away, trying to get energy to work out. It's breaking down muscles because you're breaking down muscles in the gym.
You're breaking down muscles.
So that stops the catabolism right away. So I get home. I do a cup and a half of white rice.
Okay. Any kind of white rice, like jasmine?
I use jasmine.
Jasmine rice.
Just because for me.
How do you cook? So I know it's gonna be a word. How do you cook your jasmine rice? I cook mine with like lemon.
Oh, I just throw it in a pot with water, boil it for 7 minutes, and then put it over my chicken.
Nah, we use a pot. I put lemon, and I put a little bit of lemon, and then I'll just throw the rice over it. Yeah. Then I'll mix in the rice with the lemon, and then I'll put water and boil it out.
Just lemon is great with rice.
And sometimes I'll throw like cilantro.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like if I want to do like Pollo Tropical, if you ever ate there.
Yeah.
Like they'll like their choppy chop. Like you just make it at home. But go ahead, I digress.
But I mean, at this point, I'm just trying to get food in me.
Right.
And really, I eat 7 times a day. So I do make my meals for taste to some extent.
Right.
But for me, eating is
fuel.
It's a purpose.
Yeah.
It's not an activity.
Yeah,
it's not like a social event. Yeah. I'm eating because I need that fuel to help me grow to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I'll have about 7 ounces of chicken.
Okay.
With the rice.
Okay. Per serving? 7 ounces?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I usually
like scaled and everything.
Yeah. And then I'll usually do like some spinach in there just to mix up, just get my greens in there, and then sriracha. Yeah. So that's that meal. That's usually about 10:15.
Right.
So at this point in the day, I've already had a big ass breakfast, worked out, protein shake, came back, had a big ass meal. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. About 12:30ish or so, I have my next meal. So about every 2.5 hours after that, I eat.
What fats do you use?
Well, that's what I'm getting to. The rest of them. So I get my fats from the egg yolk. Okay. There's naturally occurring fats in chicken also, in the oatmeal, stuff like that. But with my following 3 meals, I'll do about 1/3 to 1/2 of a teaspoon of olive oil in with each of them. Right. And then I also do like lean beef. So I get my fats from beef and everything like that. So
are you talking about the grass-fed beef or just a different kind of beef?
Just the lean beef. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would like to do grass-fed, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that like I'm completely 100% grass-fed. Right. Because with as much shit as I eat, I got to be cost-effective too.
That shit's expensive.
Yeah.
For like this much, $37. Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, I eat upwards of a pound of beef a day. Yeah. And then, so the next. That was meal 2. So the next 3 meals will be 2 of them will be the 7 ounces of chicken. One of them will be the 7 ounces of beef. Right. And each of them will have a cup and a half to a cup and a half of white rice. Okay. Meal number 6 is I'll go back to chicken, same amount of chicken. And then I'll do a 10-ounce sweet potato. Okay. I've been kind of laying off the sweet potato a little bit lately because I've recently increased my food. Just because I've noticed that my energy levels in the gym have kind of plateaued. I'm putting on some more size. I need to adjust my calories. Right. So I've been kind of laying off that a little bit. Oh, post-workout I do a banana also. Forgot about that.
Weird thing about bananas with me, like sometimes like I've had them pre-workout. Yeah. And it actually feels like it empties my stomach.
It's the potassium.
Yeah, like it literally feels like I hadn't eaten anything in months. What the fuck? When did I become a homeless person?
That's why I don't recommend them before.
Yeah, I've never done like after.
They're great quick fuel to stop the insulin, to spike your insulin afterwards to drive the nutrients in. Right. And plus the potassium, your body's in such like a chaotic mode from working out. Potassium and magnesium help calm you down.
Okay.
So
it's good post-workout?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's got a lot of antioxidants, nutrients, everything that you need. Okay, so meals 3, 4, 5 are, 2 of them are 7 ounces of chicken, 1 of them is 7 ounce beef, 1.5 cups of white rice, same thing with olive oil on them all. Then we go to the chicken with the sweet potato, but recently I've just been doing another cup of rice just because it's easier to get down. Same caloric value.
Right.
And then the last meal of the day is 6 egg whites and 2 whole eggs.
Okay.
So it's a carb-free meal.
Right.
Basically just breakfast all over again, minus the oatmeal.
And then 8 hours later you do it all over with the breakfast.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, like, there might be a time here pretty soon that, like, I wake up in the middle of the night and start having a protein shake.
Yeah.
Because I'm finding myself waking up at like 1:30 or 2 in the morning.
And have a hankering for some food.
Yeah, and I'm just like...
Hankering is a weird word.
I go down a bunch of water. I drink about 1.5 gallons or more of water a day.
Yeah. I drink, because I don't know math with shit like this. I drink about 5 bottles, so about 100 ounces of water just during work.
Yeah.
And then when I get home, probably drink about 0.5 gallon. And that's one thing, like, because I work with
kidney stones. Yeah.
I work with kidney stones, and I'm active and I'm constant, and I sweat like a fucking beast regardless of my size. So I'll drink a shit ton of water, and I always make sure to just drink water just because I constantly want my kidneys cleaned out.
Yeah.
Because I work with kidney stones, I don't ever want that problem.
Well, and it helps with digestion
and
everything too, and with as much food consumption as I have to take in, I have to have a good digestive system in order to process it. Now, you might be thinking like, wow, that's a lot. Like, how could I ever do that? You don't have to eat 7 meals a day.
No, you don't have to.
What the thing is you need to hit your caloric mark.
Right.
For me, my caloric mark is so high based on my individual goals and my metabolism, everything, that for me to take in that many calories in 4 meals, I would be eating like a Thanksgiving buffet at every meal.
Every meal, which is not cost effective.
No.
So what people can do in those situations is instead of having the rice with the carb, they can flip that for like vegetables or, have like broccoli.
It depends on what your goals are.
Right. But it depends on. I'm saying like. Yeah. I'm talking for like the general population, right?
Yeah.
Like the people who are kind of moderately active, they wouldn't have four meals with rice. They'd have maybe 2 meals with rice. You know what I mean? Like depending on their caloric intake.
It all depends on serving size,
right?
Portion size that you need, and I want to dispel this myth that carbs before bed will make you fat.
Right. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
That's
or
not,
carbs late at night. Anything.
That's not true. If you go over your allotted carb intake and start getting to excess calories, it'll make you fat. You could do it with protein, fat. It doesn't have to just be carbs.
Right.
Just choosing right now not to do carbs before bed because I don't want to go to bed with that huge bloated feeling.
Yeah.
It's nothing about unwanted fat gain, nothing about that. I hit my carb mark early enough in the day that I'm good to go. Yeah. So that's why I choose to do it. If your meal plan was
different, you would have the rice. It doesn't matter.
I will tell you, though, that if you have trouble sleeping at night, a complex carb meal, such as like a bowl of oatmeal before bed or a sweet potato, the magnesium, the potassium in it really helps calm you down, like I was telling you with the banana after.
Yeah.
It really helps people sleep better at night because it increases serotonin levels.
Right.
So it kind of gives you that calm, peaceful feeling to fall asleep on.
That's interesting.
So that's where I would suggest if you're having sleep issues, go ahead and throw a little, save 30 grams of your carbs for the day right before bed. Have a bowl of oatmeal.
Have a bowl of oatmeal.
It's a 1/2 cup dry serving equals a bowl of oatmeal. It's 27 carbs. It's not going to make you fat. It might help you sleep better, which in turn can release more growth hormone.
It's crucial to everything.
It helps your metabolism. So that's my current right now. It's, roughly 37 to 38 100 calories a day. Now, that's going to sound a lot. I weigh 165 pounds. I'm 5'8".
Yep.
But I have a specific goal in mind, and I am willing to use these nutrients to build muscle and to put on a little bit of fat right now for my goal of next season, because I can cut down really easily.
Right.
And my body will never allow me.
And you're more in tune with your body than most. Like, you know exactly what works for you. So
I'll never, my body will never get fat. I'm too active. I mean, if you see me in the gym, I'm like,
you're going crazy.
I'm in there for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm doing heavy compound shit. Like
never cardio.
No, but I'll tell you, I was just gonna say that. I don't do cardio because
you lift weights faster.
I lift weight. I go by the old Arnold saying, the two things you do to have for cardio. They asked him, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
lift weights faster. Right?
Lift heavy weights fast and have sex.
Have sex. That's it.
But like, you'll see, I've posted videos of like my drop sets on squats and stuff, like doing 20-25, doing that on deadlifts at 225.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you what, you guys, if you're a cardio bunny out there, guy or girl, start going to resistance training and start doing heavy drop sets.
That is the quick, like, when I was...
You'll never go back to doing regular cardio again, unless you're like in a contest prep and you have to.
When I was my fittest was when I was like, all right, let's burn this shit out with some weights. Because cardio, like steady state cardio, yeah, it's cool and I'm gonna sweat, but like it doesn't release the same kind of energy. You know what I mean? Because for me, like when I'm killing a curl set or I'm killing squats or killing like that makes you feel better. Cause like, yo, this weight is fucking killing me, but I won't let it. You know what I mean? Like you flip it on its head. Ricardo's like, all right, I'm watching a video clip on YouTube, or you know what I mean? Like where you just kind of doesn't release or have the same kind of effect for me at least.
It's kind of funny we're talking about this because two people that I highly respect in the fitness industry that I actually just got to meet last week, who I'm going to be kind of getting to know a little bit more.
Oh, cool.
They did a podcast and they actually talked all about cardio. They're both physique coaches, and one of them, they're both like pro competitors and everything. One's a bikini model. The other one was he's a master's level. He's a little bit older, but he won his pro card back in 2012, something like that. But very highly respected in the fitness industry, and they were talking about cardio, and there's different reasons to do different cardio. There's no bad way to bad cardio. You just have to understand the reason why you're doing it and what your goals are. So for contest prep time, a lot of times you're wanting to burn out the remaining glycogen in your system to get that shredded look just down.
So you don't look flat on the stage.
So that's when you do HIIT type cardio, because HIIT involves using glucose, carbohydrates for fuel.
High intensity interval training.
Right.
For those.
And steady state, you use fat as your main fuel source. Which I was going back saying earlier with like cyclists, stuff like that, it's more of an endurance, long distance type thing, so you use fat. So you have to know what your goal is, and you have to know what your macronutrient profile looks like in your diet. If you're a diet high in fat and low in carbohydrates, well, you're not going to be able to do HIIT.
Right. You're gonna go steady state.
Yeah, because that's what your body's primed to burn is fat, and plus you just don't have the energy. You don't because you don't have the same kind of fuel.
People
in contest prep, when they get down to the end, they're still doing HIIT, but they're not doing it efficiently.
To the same level they do.
They're just doing it to get the remaining glycogen out.
That burn that shit out.
So you have to understand, just in anything, and we've talked about it before, you have to have a clear vision of your goals, and you have to. That's why I highly recommend everybody, at least for a 3-month period, find a coach that you trust, that you can work with.
Right.
That can at least put you on the right direction so you can get educated and understand what you need to do. I know many great coaches out there. I do online coaching. There are trusted people out there that are not just going to take your money and give you a cookie cutter plan.
Yeah.
I mean, with me, like, I offer weekly FaceTime or Skype consults, weekly check-ins with pictures and stuff like that.
You had a client earlier.
Yeah.
Before the podcast.
And so I think if people just took the time to become more educated and understand why they're doing something,
that becomes an easier thing to accomplish. Right?
Yeah, it makes the task a lot more doable. That's with nutrition, with training, whatever it is.
Basically, education leads to success.
Yeah, that's kind of the
unless you're an athlete.
Unless you're an athlete, yeah, but
even that is education because they have to learn what works for their body.
True.
There's a different kind of education.
So nutrition is the number one key to any sort of success in training. You got to get that down. You got to understand why you're doing it. If you're a strength athlete, do not try to go keto. I'm not saying keto's bad at all. Please do not troll me. Do not say that I said keto's bad, because I did keto.
Yeah.
And the reason I can tell you from anecdotal experience is because I suffered tremendously with the weights.
Yeah.
I was ripped as shit. I was in stage ready condition without having a competition to go to. I was just doing it for me.
So is keto something you would do if you're prepping for a show?
You basically kind of do, but you don't.
Right.
Your fats never get high enough. You're basically just low on everything except for protein.
You're just cutting everything out except for protein.
And you're just high on enough protein in
How
order
much
to
coffee do you drink
maintain your muscle mass.
Doing that fucking... Because let me tell you something. So I want to talk to you about this shit.
Okay.
Because this is the first time... This week was the first time I've ever had black coffee. Like, I usually go to...
He was texting me. He's like, how do you make your coffee? And I said, I put it in the filter and I hit start.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't understand what he was saying.
I literally... I know, it sounds so dumb when you looking back. But... Like, I'd never had a coffee maker. I usually just go to Wawa and get their coffee, right? But I had a bad experience with their coffee.
Oh.
Like, something fell in it.
Wawa was bad?
Wawa was bad. It's like something fell in it, and I didn't realize it until I took a chug or something. I don't know what was in my mouth. I was like, I just hope this isn't like a fingernail or so.
I don't like how they have the community stuff.
Yeah, I don't like that either. So, again, you don't think about things until it happens to you.
Right.
Right? So, I'm there doing... So, I have it. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to get my own coffee. So, I was like... Let me talk to David. This man knows this shit. So I was like, what coffee do you buy? Bought a coffee maker from Walmart.
Yep.
We actually go to the one down the road now. We didn't go to the one right here. We're the one out in South Campbell.
I didn't know there was one.
Dude, game changer.
So much nicer.
Game.
Is it right down Gandy?
Right down Gandy on the right. Like right past West Shore.
Okay.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Dude, we literally find reasons to go there. Like the sander and like the shit that you saw outside.
Yeah.
Like we bought it from there.
Oh,
it's fucking ridiculous. It's insane. Like we're like, holy shit. So this we get ended with this. So I drank coffee. So I drank black coffee Tuesday because Monday I had anything. Was it Tuesday?
Sure?
Yeah, I think it was Tuesday.
Yeah, because you texted me Monday night.
I texted you Monday night
for Tuesday morning.
For Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
So I make it, and I still have my Wawa mug, and. So I have all black coffee. Like fuck it, I'm gonna try it. Now I've never had all black coffee. I always had it with French vanilla, like a sweetener or something like that. And that always.
Are you a pumpkin spice latte type guy?
Fuck no. They actually have that there now. Like
I'm sure.
So I was like, and it always, let's say, cleared me out, right? Like just.
I'll tell you why in a minute.
Whoosh! And I drank the black coffee, and I was prepared to get anally raped. Like I was like, I'm preparing myself because I was like. If coffee did this to me, black coffee I'm gonna lose 17 pounds in 10 minutes then, and none of it happened. Like that was
could be a shock to your system.
But here's the weird thing.
Actually,
I felt so you've seen X-Men, you know of X-Men. I felt like Nightcrawler because I felt like I was teleporting to many different places.
Oh my god!
Because dude, I felt
like tripping on acid.
I swear to God, I was like seeing sound. I was like Fear and Loathing. I was like Johnny Depp and Fear and Loathing. I feel like I had a cigarette. I was bald, had a Kango hat, but at the same time, I was at work treating a patient, and I was sweating my balls off, and I was like, this is either the greatest experience or the scariest. So I was like, maybe I went too black, right? Which is a possibility. First of all, that sounded really weird. I apologize. Sounded really weird.
Let's clarify where we're going with that one.
Coffee. Maybe I went too dark on the coffee.
So you're saying you went too black, but you did come back.
I came back. I sure did. Easily. So today I had stevia and some almond milk. Remember I asked you about that.
The almond milk.
Hated it. Absolutely hated it. Like I couldn't even finish it. I hated the way it tasted.
I agree with you, but I'm kind of surprised just because of how you used to drink.
Exactly. And from one day I was like, first of all, black coffee. Being completely honest, it tastes terrible. It's not something that...
It's an acquired
taste. But having it with almond milk and stevia, like, yeah, I could drink black coffee. Like, I was like, okay, it's not something hard to do. Because, like, I might have to either be all in or not, right?
Right.
Like, I could keep doing the Wawa thing, cool. But after that experience, never going to happen. And now having the experience of almond milk and stevia with black coffee from, like, the Maxwell House, the same one the original roast. I'm never going to do it again. I was like, all right, so did the black coffee. And now Halo Top. I don't. We'll jump to black. I'll get your
All
take
right.
on the black coffee. Halo Top is the most shocking thing to me because it tastes amazing, and I'm reading it. I was like, "There's no way that this whole thing is this."
One thing that
Halo Top is an ice cream if you don't.
Yeah, it's a very macro-friendly ice cream, meaning it's not going to, if you indulge in the whole pint, it's not going to completely throw you off.
It's a solid guilty pleasure.
So, like, here's an example. Like, most of them run between about 280 or 240 to about 320 calories for the pint.
Yep.
That would be the equivalent of, like, a cup of regular ice cream, pretty much. I mean, maybe a little bit more, but so basically, it's
there's a whole bunch of fucking people watching this right now
Yeah.
that are gonna watch this and like, what's the difference between a cup and a pint?
Yeah.
What's an ounce again? Because
they're all gonna be looking up on their phones like the
a lot of people's eyes just glazed over when they heard cup, pint, quarter gap. They just
This is the nutritionist syndrome coming out.
No, but it's crazy shit how people don't know that. Right?
It is.
Like, I struggle with it sometimes. Like, I was like, babe, what's a teaspoon and a tablespoon? The size of the spoon. Makes perfect fucking sense.
So this whole pint typically runs, this is just average, most of them are like this, it's about 14, there's 4 servings in it, okay? So each serving is about 2 grams of fat, 2.5 grams of fat, 14 grams of carbs, and about 5 grams of protein. So you eat the whole thing, you multiply all that by 4, you're really only getting about 10 grams of fat, about 56 grams of carbs, and about 20 grams of fat. So the reason I say this is macro friendly is because those really aren't bad nutrient ratios if you're, say, looking for a post-workout meal right away. This kind of falls into a lot of people with the if it fits your macros type thing, which next week I want to talk on because I have got a shitload to go on about that. If it fits your macros.
First of all,
nobody fucking does it right. It's not meaning you can go out and eat fried chicken and burgers and everything just to hit your calories. That's not what it was meant to be.
We should definitely make that a shirt.
Oh, that's a big thing.
If it fits your macros?
Oh, I mean, that's like a nationwide
No, that shirt?
I mean, IFYM, it's just like, it's all out there.
No,
we would probably get, like,
but
sued for copyright laws.
We'd have to make it our own thing. We're probably wrong for putting it on the podcast, but we should talk about this off air. But we got to start making shirts. Because I feel like there's not enough t-shirts besides, like, the micro sheet ones, which are badass, alpha as fuck, and things like that. There's definitely a gym t-shirt game that's slacking, that people take it serious, and not just the comic book people.
Yeah.
Like, you should joke on that a lot more. Like, we'll talk about that off air.
Yeah. I do have actually ideas that we'll talk about. But anyways,
yeah.
So, and even if you just wanted to have it for like a late night, like a last dessert sort of thing, it's not as bad as what a lot of the desserts out there.
I had some last night actually. For dessert.
I mean, I don't want to say guilt free, but like, it's a hell of a lot better than going and eating like half a carton of ice cream.
Good selection at that Walmart.
Yeah.
Which was surprising because I thought Walmart only carried shitty shit. And
they're getting better.
They're getting better. But dude, I'm telling you, the one on Gandhi.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
Go check it out.
Fucking amazing.
But it's
I hope I didn't give away
great
the location
flavors.
where I live. Don't show up to my motherfucking house.
We do not live in St. Tasty. You can make it fit into your caloric needs.
Yeah.
It's not.
You can factor it in.
You can absolutely factor
if it fits your macros.
It fits your macros. And I'm not saying doing it every night. But if you want to take a couple bites here and there, it's a great tasting product. I highly recommend it. My 3 favorites are the birthday cake, the pancakes and waffles.
They don't have that one there.
Gotta get pancakes and waffles.
I look for that.
And the new peanut butter cup.
I've had the chocolate and the cookies and cream, which the chocolate was $2.60, I think.
It sounds about right.
Because it's just plain chocolate. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
So chocolate, and then my wife got the mint chocolate chip. Which
that's a good one too.
I hate mint and chocolate together. I feel like that's offensive.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
What the hell did it ever do to you?
I personally don't know. Maybe I had a bad experience as a child, but I just never liked mint and chocolate chip. Yeah. Like what would you do for a Klondike bar? Remember, like they did the mint. ew, what is it? It tastes like medicine.
See, I used to like, there's different, there's mint chocolate chip, and then there's like green mint in chocolate chip. I love the green mint, but they don't have that one. No. But anyways, go check it out. It's great. You can find a way to still kind of crave that sweet tooth that you have, kind of fill that in. Great ice cream. It's not going to be too damaging for you if you leave room for it. So
it's very surprising. I was shocked because I saw you. I mean, you post about it all the time.
Yeah, I make video reviews on when I try new flavors and
stuff.
Yeah,
I was telling my wife and I was like, hey, we got to try this shit. Like, you're always talking about it. I was like, if it's terrible, we're gonna give it a review. But I was like, this shit is actually like, we looked at it because it says big as shit how many calories it is.
Right.
It's basically bigger than the kind of the flavor of ice cream, right? So you have to try to find it. I was like, dude, there's no way. And then when we tried it, I was like, this makes no sense. Like,
how can something be this?
Yeah, because people equate taste to
high calories.
To high calorie, right? So if something tastes good, you're almost skeptic. Like, nah, this ain't a fucking UFO. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It doesn't seem to add up, and it does, and it's fucking awesome, and it's I don't want to say a healthy alternative, but it's a better,
healthier alternative.
It's healthier alternative than like a Bluebell or a Haagen-Dazs, where you might as well just
Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, or you might as well just snort the sugar.
Yeah,
right? like a Dolphins offensive line coach.
Yeah, while drinking a gallon of fat.
Exactly.
But I'm very picky about, especially because I'm a bodybuilder and stuff, I'm very picky about what goes into my body. Mm-hmm. If I didn't believe in this product, I wouldn't be promoting it. Right. So try it.
It's definitely good, man. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, well.
That was a good one, brother.
That was good, man. We kind of got worked up with that soccer thing.
That soccer thing went on a little longer.
I'll tell you what, and I'm really not a soccer. I'm a sports fanatic. I do follow soccer. I enjoy it and stuff, but I never, I'm not a fan like you are.
Right.
But this struck me just as an American. Like,
if you ever want to come over and hang out and watch, like I'm a big fan of Real Madrid.
Yeah.
That's what's behind you right there.
Oh yeah.
And you ever want to come over and watch what like European soccer at the highest level looks like, and compare that to how U.S. soccer plays, you'll be fucking mind blown.
Well, the point I forgot to bring up earlier, and I guess we'll just end it on here or whatever. But I never was really super into soccer growing up. I was baseball, basketball, tennis, football, everything. But in college, a few of my friends were on the soccer team.
Right.
So the first time I was really exposed to the kind of soccer you're talking about was when the World Cup was going on, when I was like, I want to say it was my sophomore, junior year of college.
Right.
And we had just a huge party for days, like just the whole week.
Yeah,
we had a keg every day.
Yeah.
And we just all sat around, and I'm like, well, I'm drinking and I'm watching sports. Everybody's having fun. This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what got me into it, is just from like college and drinking and being with my friends. And then I was living out in San Diego for a little bit after the Army.
Okay.
And another World Cup was going on down there, and this bar right down by
except for the U.S. in certain parts, and you're lucky enough to have been in those parts. Like the entire world shuts down. Like there's this game in Spain between Barcelona and Real Madrid, right?
Yeah.
It's called El Clásico.
Yes.
They play twice a year. There's like sometimes 1 billion to 2 billion people who watch the game.
Okay.
Like there's said, and I might be making this up, which is completely possible. They said that there's not even any terrorist attack on those games, because even like terrorists are watching. Because it's the biggest game. Like,
I feel bad for laughing at that statement.
Yeah, right. It's fucked up. But like I think it's like you could compare the last 10 Super Bowls. Doesn't even come close to one, and it's a regular season game.
Yeah.
Like that's what means. That's what's
happens
crazy.
All the time.
It happens all the time.
God damn.
I think it's like in December and April.
Cubs are down 5-0.
Oh, that's not good. Is Game 5?
Bottom of the 8th. No, it's Game 4.
Oh, okay.
It's still bottom of the 8th. We got 2 more chances.
So it was what, 2-1? Yeah, it's a good one.
Shit. Sorry, guys. I've been following the game. If you're watching on the thing, I've been following the game on my phone. But if you're listening, you didn't know that. So I'm a Cubs guy. So
yeah. Nobody's perfect. I'm not a big. The only thing I'm excited about, because I grew up a Marlins fan, is that the Jeter just bought the Marlins.
Yeah.
So hopefully they get better, because I've dealt with the crook of Jeffrey Lurie for the last 15 years.
He's an idiot.
Fucking dick.
Well, maybe we'll touch on that next week too.
Yeah, we're gonna.
We'll
be talking about FSU. We'll be talking FSU. Fuck that. We're talking Miami, Georgia Tech.
Because
I'm very scared about this game. Very triple option the week after an emotional win is terrifying.
Is it in Miami?
In Miami, but Georgia Tech was off last week.
Yeah,
it's scary. I might do another episode later in the week, either previewing it or I'm going to do an hour episode of just me crying about the fact that he lost.
I might be consoling him next week over this, but you guys, thank you for listening.
Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate it. I keep forgetting that we're doing this on YouTube too. So
well, this
you're probably gonna see me like fishing. Like I can't sit still, guys.
We're literally gonna be like, we're not doing stream live, but this I'm gonna leave this on.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the awkwardness of the first time we will put it up.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
We're learning as we go.
Yeah, this is all the process. We're sitting on metal chairs. One day we'll be like motherfucking Joe Rogan.
I don't think I've sat this long forever. Like you're gonna see me like fidgeting and stuff, like because I can't sit still.
These are the longest conversations we have.
It is
in person, right? Because everything's through text.
It's through text, and like we have different gym times, so occasionally we'll catch each other like going in and out.
Yeah, because you're a full-time student and doing your personal training thing, and I'm constantly out of town.
Right.
And today I was in Orlando. Tomorrow I'll be in Altamont. And then, you know, so I'm
like, we don't even know when we're going to do these. We know we have like a day.
We have like a day. We don't have our.
It's like a couple hours before we do it. It's like, hey, I'm going to be home. Let's come do this. So,
dude, and it's worse because for a lot of my friends, like I do them through the phone.
Oh yeah.
So like it's just like a random call, like I did one last week with my lord Ruben, and I just called him up and just recorded straight from there. So it's because that's the hard part of the job. Is like I don't know when I'm going to be home. Regardless, even if I know the times of the cases that I have, you gotta factor in traffic and load up and all this different type of shit. But it's always fun, man.
Awesome time.
Yeah, man.